I'm editing episodes January 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th. If you don't know what COVID-19 LST is, it's a nonprofit organization that specializes in giving the most accurate data on, unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic. If you would like to know more, go to covid19lst.org. All right, let's get into it.
The report for January 6th, 2021.
Climate. American physicians from Yale and the University of Maryland argue that the U.S. government should mandate vaccination of migrant detainees against COVID-19. They assert that the crowded and inadequate sanitary conditions in these facilities will create epicenters for disease proliferation, and that without federal mandates, states will fail to vaccinate this vulnerable population. Authors suggest that policy is both sound and moral.
Epidemiology.
Dun 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 dun. We need a little jingle. Dun 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 dun.
Imperative.
Epidemiology. 18 physicians conducted reports using the SIMI COVID-19 registry of 12,170 COVID-19 patients from 100 hospitals in Spain to investigate the impact of arterial stiffness on mortality. They found that arterial stiffness, looking at pulse pressure greater than or equal to 60 millimeters of mercury, and systolic blood pressures less than 120 millimeters of mercury, significantly and independently predicted all-cause in-hospital mortality. Authors concluded systolic blood pressure and pulse pressure values on admission are independent predictors of mortality in COVID-19 patients.
Management. A single-center retrospective cohort study of 157 hospitalized COVID-19 patients in Wuhan, China, analyzed 43 demographic, clinical, and laboratory parameters and found an association between higher systolic blood pressure on admission and increased mortality. They utilized regression models to predict mortality and survivability based on available data, and they suggest using these models for risk stratification and the appropriate triaging of patients to improve outcomes.
Did you guys ever watch like Recess? Oh, okay, there's no viewers, but I'm just talking to myself. The beanie and the braids really remind me of, I can't remember the girl, but really remind me of the girl on Recess. I love these braids though, and this beanie. All right, that's a wrap. Command A, Command C. And you can also do this like in a multi-track session. You don't have to put it all together. I've just found that this is like the simplest way for me to do it.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. Then we do the outro. Again, Command A, Command C. Again, you could do this in multi-track. The only reason I don't is I don't feel as though that this is like as complex as a audio file that you need to. Like, I think multi-track sessions are really important if you're doing different drops or if you're doing music production. That would be especially crucial. However, this is pretty simplistic audio files that we're working with, in my opinion. All right, so then we get the intro, Command A, Command C. We're just going to put that right there. Then we're going to do some click pop eliminators. We go to effects, then we go to noise reduction restoration, click pop eliminator, default, apply.
Welcome back to the Daily Report, brought to you by the...
And you know what I really need to do is at some point I have to just hope I can get a different re-recording of it or something to that extent. All right, so now we're going to go to multi-track sessions. I'm not going to name the session. I only name it when I export it. It's probably not a great way to save your file, but that's what I do. And then we're going to do this bed. It's an MP3, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's royalty free and is a pretty neutral sound.
January 6th, 2021.
Oh no, I want it right here. LOL. I don't want to do that. Maybe I should do back. Raise it up a couple decibels.
The report for January 6th, 2021.
Climate. American physician.
Razor tool. You know, I like the razor tool, but I just don't find myself using it a whole lot. I know in Adobe Premiere Pro I do. We're gonna put some keynotes down. I like that curvature.
Report for January 6th, 2021.
Climate.
Got a little bop going
American
on.
physicians from Yale and the University of Maryland argue that the U.S. government should mandate...
Right. That was a little too corny. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise the levels on this. I have a feeling I'm talking pretty quiet because I have headphones on. So we're going to shorten the music.
Continue to stay informed to improve outcomes.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening. Listen to the COVID-19 LST podcast.
These models for risk stratification and the appropriate triaging of patients to improve outcomes.
That's all.
I skipped a little bit ahead of my method. Usually I do this and then I do the outro keynotes, but I don't know, feeling a little crazy today. All right, there we have it. Now we're gonna go to File, Export, Multi-track, Mixdown, Entire session. Then it's gonna ask you to save the file. How do you want it to be saved? I'm gonna save it as 1_6 final. A wave file is ideal in my opinion. A 44/100 hertz stereo, of course, and then in a 32-bit. Again, just check with wherever you're going to distribute this audio or your audio, such as the platform of what bit they would like. All right, on to the next one. Oh, this one seems fairly short. All these except for the 11th. Sweet, my lucky day, I guess.
The report.
The report for, you guessed it, January 7th, 2021.
The report for January 7th, 2021.
Man, am I good or what?
Adjusting practice.
Okay. Adjusting practice during COVID-19. Okay. I hate when I do that. If you press like the it's like the backslash key. Yeah, it's the key. I just did it to double check. But yeah, if you press the backslash key under the delete key on my MacBook.
Adjusting practice during COVID-19.
Pain in the
A
butt.
team of cardiologists and pharmacists from hospitals in Shanghai and Wuhan, China, assessed the association between mortality in 535 hospitalized COVID-19 patients and low molecular weight heparin use between January 26th and March 26, 2020. They found the overall adjusted odds ratio for mortality was lower in the low molecular weight heparin users versus non-users, specifically in critically ill cases. Authors suggest that low molecular weight heparin use appears to correlate with the survival benefit in hospitalized COVID-19 patients, especially those with severely and critically ill conditions. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We only have one study today. Thanks for listening.
Will is so cute. Never met him in my life. And I think he's like probably in his 40s or something, but seems like such a cute guy. Just like, that's it. I'm Will. Like, I haven't even met him on Zoom. Oh my God. Cancel. That's it. I don't know. I just found that so cute.
Today, thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us.
All right, so for this one, we're going to go to File, New Multi-track Session. Basically do what we did with the previous audio. My foot is asleep. Oh my God. Okay. I'm good. Mute. The report. Okay. I like to raise the decibels just so the music doesn't seem to like drown them out. And you could say, Sarah, why don't you just lower the music? And I would say, well, then you can't hear the music, so what's the point of putting the music? So that would be my answer to that. All right, keynotes.
The report for January 7th, 2021. Adjusting practice during COVID-19.
Pandemic.
And critically ill conditions. That's it. We only have one study. That's it. We only have one study today. Thanks for listening.
Continue.
I'm going to keep the pen. You know, I don't like that they're too close. Boom, boom. Oh, okay. Yeah, recently I feel like I've been having my keynotes like way too close together, so they're not actually having like a smooth
and critically ill conditions.
fade out.
That's it. We only have one study today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed.
All right, file, exports, multi-track mixdown, entire session. In fact, I've never even used multi-track mixdown in different sections. I've only done the entire session. So I don't even know what you would use snippets for. Because at that point, just remove them, but that's just my own personal opinion. All right, so that was 1_7. Final. All right, 1_8, here we go.
The report for February 8th, 2021.
Epidemiology. Authors present a concerning case report of a 29-year-old SARS-CoV-2 positive woman with minimal mild symptoms who
How old was the woman?
SARS-CoV-2 positive woman with minimal mild report of a 29-year-old SARS-CoV-2 positive woman with minimal mild symptoms who underwent an uncomplicated and successful vaginal delivery to a healthy baby boy at the University of Missouri Women and Children's Hospital in April 2020.
You know, I thought she was going to say a lot of things, but that one was not what I thought.
After birth, the patient's placenta was subsequently analyzed using H&E staining, which revealed evidence of general placental vascular malperfusion, possibly due to placental vascular malperfusion, possibly due to a hypertrophic arteriolopathy, along with immunohistochemistry.
Wow, that's
evidence
complicated.
of general placental vascular malperfusion, possibly due to a hypertrophic arteriolopathy, along with immunohistochemistry staining, which revealed the presence of SARS-CoV-2 in chorionic villi endothelial cells. Current literature on COVID-19 in pregnant patients is somewhat conflicting regarding morbidity.
That was strange.
Cells. Current literature cells. Current literature on COVID-19 cells. Current literature on COVID-19 in pregnant patients is somewhat conflicting regarding morbidity,
All right. Let's try this technique. Give me a second. All right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for audio where no one's talking, like this. All right, now we're going to do Shift P. This is my first time doing this, by the way. Current audio selection will be captured and loaded as a noise print for the use next time your noise print effect is launched. Okay, so we saved that. Now let's go all the way back. Oh, I was like, I'm going to be able to see it. It's so thick. And then I didn't. Here we go.
Endothelial cells. Current literature.
So then we hear like right here, we can start to see the audio get like really wonky. It's probably that radiator or heater. Press Control A to select the whole track. Okay. I didn't know Control A was that, but Control A. Then press Shift Control P. Shift Control P. I have a feeling that did not do what we wanted to do. Oh my god. Oh, you know what it did? Is, okay, so undo.
The report.
What?
Epidemiology. Authors present a concerning case report of a positive woman with minimal mild symptoms who underwent an uncomplicated and successful vaginal delivery to a healthy baby boy at the University of Missouri Women and Children's Hospital in April 2020. After birth, the patient's placenta was subsequently analyzed using H&E staining, which revealed evidence of general placental vascular previously healthy, while using capturing devices clear out the someone feeling real healthy.
Okay, hey, we have one viewer. Last time I was live, I had one viewer too. And I know I say this every single time I go live, but feel free to comment. Feel free to ask me a question. I'll talk about anything. I don't care. But I think it's very interesting, maybe even borderline sus, that I always have one viewer and they don't say anything. And this was what makes me think that I don't actually have one viewer. It's probably like BS or something. Anyway.
Endothelial cells. Current literature on COVID-19 in pregnant patients is somewhat conflicting regarding morbidity, miscarriage rates, susceptibility, and possibility of vertical transmission. The authors posit that this case is the first report of placental SARS-CoV-2 in the setting of mild COVID-19 disease.
R&D.
Diagnosis and treatments. All right, now we are going to go to the jingle. Command C. Oh, we already had it selected, so now Command. Oh, no. Oh my goodness, undo. Why does it look so small? That's what she said.
Disease.
R&D, diagnosis and treatments. A prospective study conducted at a Malaysian COVID-19 quarantine center of 217 asymptomatic adult males where 160 tested positive found a far greater SARS-CoV-2 detection rate using morning salivary samples at 93% when compared to nasopharyngeal swabs at only 52%. These results suggest that the higher accuracy of salivary analysis could play a role in improved diagnostics, decreasing direct healthcare worker-patient interaction, risk of transmission, improving transport preservation, reducing test wait time, and allowing for self-collection.
All right. Thank you, Will. Oh, I was like, what am I looking for? Obviously, the file that we just edited.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us. COVID-19 LST.
Welcome back to the Daily
Oh.
Report.
I put the wrong one. What the heck? I'm glad I caught that.
Continue to stay.
All right, and then after we do this, we just have one more. Mute. Also, I was dropping it down to like -38, and I realized that's just way too low. So that's why I have changed it to raising decibels on the audio and I guess having more decibels on the sound bed, even though it's still in the negative. But yeah.
2021.
Epidemiology. Authors present a concerning case report of a 29-year-old SARS-CoV-2 positive woman with minimal mild.
Still a little too loud for my taste.
Symptoms, who underwent an uncomplicated and successful vaginal.
There we go.
reducing test wait time, and allowing for self-collection. That's all. Reducing test wait time, and allowing for self-collection. That's all for today.
All right, file, save as. Oh, no, what? No, we're not doing that. We're going to file, export. Eventually, I will have to clear out my hard drive of all of these WAV files, but today is not that day. All right. Now let's knock out the last one. Oh, I'm going to sit on my foot because my back is killing me. Okay. Oh.
The report for January 11th, 2021.
Epidemiology. Do we need routine COVID-19 testing of emergency department staff?
I would say, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
A study from the University of Washington uses a mathematical
Go Dogs, by the way. Go Dogs, sorry.
model based on the Diamond Princess cruise ship data.
Even though I was only a dog for like 3 months. Or no, not 3 months. 3 quarters.
To predict detection of SARS-CoV-2 in asymptomatic healthcare workers in the emergency department in regions with high COVID-19 rates. Results revealed that within 6 months, weekly testing in asymptomatic healthcare workers would reduce infection rates by 3 to 5.9%. When the transmission constant is 1.2 e to the negative fourth new infections per person squared, while transmission constant of 3.6 e to...
Girl, I don't know what that means. The highest math class I took in college was like, it was like 124, I think is what they called it.
e to the negative 4 new infections per person squared would result in person squared would result in would result in squared would result
I don't like this. Okay.
infections per person squared would result in would
Alright, so that's where she stopped saying squared.
would result per person squared would result in reduction.
Thing is, it needs a little bit of space. Little bit of space. Like that.
Would result would result
Might be too much space.
person squared would result in reduction of infections per person squared would result in reduction of infections.
Okay, the last thing I can do
Squared would result
would be to lower this because it's pretty. It just comes at you pretty intense.
Squared would result in reduction of infections per person squared would result in reduction of infections by 11 to 23%. Infections by 11 to 23%. The authors urge for more frequent testing in asymptomatic healthcare workers to help reduce the rate of SARS-CoV-2 infection.
The jingle. That is what we need. If you have any ideas about a new jingle, feel free to drop it below, and I can give my team some suggestions. Not that anyone is looking to change it, just kind of curious.
To infection.
Understanding the pathology. Dynamic changes are witnessed in anti-SARS-CoV-2 antibodies during SARS-CoV-2 infection and recovery. In a retrospective analysis by bioinformatics and global health specialists in China, where 1,850 hospitalized patients with COVID-19 were analyzed, those with mild or moderate disease were found to develop IgG antibodies 1 week earlier than patients with severe disease, while spike protein and receptor binding domain-specific IgG levels were 1.5 or twofold higher in critically ill hospitalized patients, and SARS-CoV-2 RNA negative recovered patients, respectively, compared to those who remained RNA positive. These data suggest earlier development of antibodies may be protective against developing severe disease. However, those who recover from more severe disease may also have higher levels of antibodies and a shorter duration of viral shedding.
Whoa. Oh boy, guys. I think the radiator is on for this one. Ooh. I don't know what the heck I did, but I did something.
Shedding.
Management. Coronary calcium scoring was found to be a predictor for outcome in COVID-19. A retrospective
What is that?
Active cohort study conducted at the University of Munich by a team of internal medicine and
Also, I think that's where my sister's going to go to graduate school, is Munich. That's pretty cool. All right. Let's try this again because that. All right. Let's try this get rid of background noise idea. All right. I should have looked before. Okay, command. No, just shift P. Shift P. I hope this will do it. I think that's what I was messing up last time, is I just didn't press apply. I just went, So, we'll see. Okay, let's see if it worked.
Dynamic changes are witnessed in anti-SARS-CoV. Understanding the
management. Coronary calcium scoring was found to be a predictor
it
for
didn't.
outcome in COVID.
It didn't. But I think it helped a little bit. Like at first, it sounded like she was like, near a jungle, like waterfall, like, or maybe an island waterfall, just a waterfall in general. So, anywho, I will have to look more into that.
Management. Coronary calcium scoring was found to be a predictor for outcome in COVID-19. A retrospective cohort study conducted at the University of Munich by a team of internal medicine and radiology specialists found the coronary artery calcification score to be a significant prognostic indicator based on 109 SARS-CoV-2 infected patients. Authors found the median coronary artery calcification score to be 140.
All right. Sorry about that.
in patients with critical COVID-19 and 160 in patients with fatal outcomes.
That's depressing. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm just gonna bet.
The authors note limitations.
Nope. Shouldn't have done that.
Fatal outcomes. The authors note limitations due to retrospective design and small sample size. However, these findings are consistent with the current body of knowledge that suggests that coronary artery disease is significant. That coronary artery disease is significantly associated with an adverse clinical outcome in COVID-19. Oxygen saturation fraction of inhaled oxygen.
I really thought she was going to say Oxycontin. I do not know why.
Is associated with mortality in patients with COVID-19 associated pneumonia requiring oxygen therapy.
That's horrible.
A retrospective cohort study from a group of South Korean internists analyzed 59 hospitalized COVID-19 patients in hypoxic respiratory failure and found that the SpO2 to FiO2 ratio was predictive of ARDS occurrence, was significantly predictive of significantly predictive of ARDS occurrence. Results also demonstrated that the SpO2 to FiO2 ratio at exacerbation and National Early Warning Score or MU score were significant predictors of mortality. Additionally, the SpO2 to FiO2 ratio has many advantages over traditionally used PaO2 to FiO2 ratio during the COVID-19 pandemic because it does not require the measurement of arterial blood gas.
Adjusting practice during COVID-19. There's a high prevalence of deep venous thrombosis in non-severe COVID-19 patients hospitalized for a neurovascular disease. This prospective study from France evaluates 13 patients with non-severe COVID-19 and concurrent neurovascular disease for deep venous thrombosis or DVT by Doppler ultrasound scanning of the lower limbs. Results showed that despite thromboprophylaxis, the prevalence of asymptomatic DVT was 38.5%. The authors thus advocate for the use of bedside ultrasound to identify DVT in patients with COVID-19, given that the D-dimer, the classic marker of DVT, has been shown to correlate with COVID-19 severity and may be elevated in this population regardless of coagulable state.
Oh no.
R&D, diagnosis and treatments. What have we learned about treatments? What have we learned about the viral
Didn't do anything. Okay.
diagnosis and treatments? What have we learned about diagnosis and treatments? What have we learned about the viral cultures and COVID-19 infectious potential?
If anyone has any good ideas on how to do this, I've already done the noise print reduction process. By capturing a different noise print and then applying it. I don't know, maybe denoise. Heavy noise reduction. Oh. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it on. See, I knew it was going to do something weird.
R&D, diagnosis and treatments. What have we learned about the viral?
I knew it was going to do something weird. Okay.
Diagnosis and treatments. What have we learned? R&D,
But I don't want to do this for everyone, you know what I'm saying?
diagnosis and treatment. Diagnosis and treatment. What have we diagnosis and treatments? What have we learned about the viral cultures and COVID-19 infectious potential?
I don't know.
A review conducted at University of Oxford analyzes 29 studies that attempted to culture SARS-CoV-2 to estimate potential or observed infectivity. The authors suggest an apparent correlation between the length of time between specimen collection and test, cycle threshold, and symptom severity. Furthermore, they found cycle threshold to be a good surrogate for viral load as it correlated with increased infection of Vero E6 cells by SARS-CoV-2. Inconsistency in culturing methods limits study power, highlighting the need for standardization of this process. Inconclusive process. Inconclusive COVID-19 process.
It just sounds bad.
Inconclusive COVID-19 PCR results have high rates of false positive tests. Infectious disease physicians from UCLA analyzed inconclusive SARS-CoV-2 RT-PCR tests to determine the rates of false positive tests and to create an algorithm to make determinations on inconclusive tests. The authors found that the rate of false positives on the inconclusive test ranged between 14 to 39%, and that lowering the cycle threshold cutoff from 40 to 37 in the attack path assay significantly lower the false positive rate. Hydroxychloroquine, with or without azithromycin, was found to have no effect on mild to moderate COVID-19. A multi-center randomized controlled trial conducted by H-Core Research Institute in São Paulo, Brazil, across 55 hospitals in Brazil.
Okay,
Research Institute in São Paulo, Brazil. in Sao Paulo Institute in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Institute in Sao Paulo, Brazil, across 55 hospitals in Brazil, across 55 hospitals in Brazil, across 55 Brazilian hospitals included 667 adult patients hospitalized with suspected or confirmed mild to moderate COVID-19. With less than 14 days since symptom onset, who received standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400 milligrams twice a day, or standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400
Oh man, I probably shouldn't have screamed into the microphone like that. With the levels all the way up. Okay.
400 milligrams twice a day, or standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400 milligrams twice a day plus azithromycin.
Okay.
With less than 14 days since symptom onset, who received standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400 milligrams, standard care plus 400 milligrams plus 400 milligrams twice a day, or standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400 plus care plus milligrams plus hydroxygrams
Oh man.
twice a day. Standard care plus 4 or standard care plus standard care plus hydroxychloroquine 400 milligrams twice a day plus azithromycin 500 mg once a day for 7 days. Once azithromycin 500 mg once a day for 7 mg once a day for 7 days. It was determined that a higher ordinal score or worse prognosis at 15 days was not affected by hydroxychloroquine or hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin treatment, and it did not change with the amount of time since randomization. This suggests the use of hydroxychloroquine with or without azithromycin in mild to moderate COVID-19 infection has no effect on improving clinical status at 15 days compared to standard care.
All right.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue
The report for January 11th, 2021.
Epidemiology. Do we need care?
Wow, it still says one viewer, and we've been going for an hour and 9 minutes right now. That's kind of crazy. I'll take it.
Infection has no effect on improving clinical status at 15 days compared to standard care. COVID-19 infection has no effect on improving clinical status at 15 days compared or hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin treatment, and it did not change with the amount of time since randomization. This suggests the use of hydroxychloroquine with or without azithromycin in mild to moderate COVID-19 infection has no effect on improving clinical status at 15 days compared to standard care.
That's all for today.
All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap. Today we edited and will now upload episodes January 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcast, our website, which is covid19lst.org, and many others, such as Google Podcast. I hope you have enjoyed me editing these podcasts. Shout out to the one viewer that stuck around for over 45 minutes now. Kudos to you. Wish you would have dropped a comment. That's okay, though. And adios.